Welcome in is Views from the Stands on a Friday night, and we are ready to rock and roll, man. It is just me and the GMike tonight. BC will be back with us next week. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about some fun stuff we got. We have a special guest tonight, Mr. Brandon Day. That's going to be a lot of fun. He has a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Everything from playing college football to being involved in his own company with neuroscience. It's a lot to talk about, and he's going to be able to do a way better job than I am at the moment explaining it. We also are going to take it into, because of his college football background, came out a couple weeks ago, the CFP decided not to go past 12 teams. So we're going to end up talking about that a little bit more, and who better to actually talk about it when they actually played college football. So that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about as well. And if you're not know, then you better know we got UFC again, another named card coming back to back, man. Dana White's making the people happy, doing 2 back-to-back pay-per-views. So we'll be talking about that one, Volkanovski and Lopez. Man, the first one was an electric fight that was so excited to watch. We're going to be doing that some more. And, of course, I'm not going to leave you without a DownBad debate. So we are extremely excited about that, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing on and popping. But before we get to any of that stuff, we have to shout out Podmatch, and that's how we met Mr. Day over here as well when he comes on here in a couple minutes. But Podmatch has been a great asset for us, and we've been really enjoying the company. Alex is a great guy, and so is his wife. Always answering emails, always doing everything we need. If you're looking to do any kind of podcasting work, these are the guys to work with. They hook you up with people that are all from all walks of life. And so we're really excited to get with these guys, and they've done a fantastic job helping us out. Mr. GMike, man, before we bring our special guest in, it's good to see you, my friend. It's a Friday night. How you feeling?
Friday night, baby. Feeling good. Good for the weekend, you know, blessed day, and ready to get this on and popping. Thank you, Podmatch.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's not keep our special guest waiting any longer. Let's go ahead and bring on our special guest for the night.
Special guest Views from the Stands.
All right, welcome to the show, Mr. Brandon Day. We are extremely excited to have you on here, man. I've been reached out to you a couple of weeks ago to try to get you on. I'm glad we actually got to make this actually happen, man. You got an extremely interesting story, and I was hoping that people would get a chance to hear it. So without further ado, I'll give you a couple of minutes to humble brag about yourself, my friend.
Awesome. Stevie B, GMike, thank you guys for having me. And shameless plug for Podmatch again. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be on there that this could happen. It's been a game changer for me in my business, honestly. And they didn't even pay me to say that. I just love it. Right.
I 100% agree. They've just honestly always been there for everybody. And I generally think they're great people, and they've always been really cool. So that is not just like one of those that they're helping us out, paying us or something. They're actually really good people. I'm glad you said the same thing 100%. As well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So glad to be here. Talk sports with you guys. And my background, started from a young age playing every sport, anything that had a ball, I was into it for sure, and still to this day. But that ended up, taking me a long way through college football. I played in a small program in Montana called Carroll College. It's part of the NAIA, which I'm sure you guys know is a different organization than the NCAA, usually, private, smaller, religious affiliated schools most of the time. And there's hundreds of them around the country. So big base, but they kind of get lumped in with Division II with the NCAA as far as competition level. But I was fortunate, man, to play in 3 national championships. We won 2 of them. I was an All-American at that level. And I actually ended up on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 2007.
Now that you say that, let's go ahead and without further ado. Look at my man on Sports Illustrated.
You had that teed up. Well played. Yeah, nice. Yeah, man, it was a crazy picture. The cool thing about it is you wouldn't really know it was me unless you knew it was me, right? And the whole story behind it with SI was when I talked to the editor, it was the same time, if you see at the top of it, it was when the Mitchell report came out. You guys remember the Mitchell report?
Oh, yeah.
With baseball? Yeah, so the big steroid scandal was going on. Yeah. The editor of Sports Illustrated, the night it was coming out, was I don't know if you know where we're thinking about putting this picture of you. It's a cool picture. And I'm thinking it's going to be in the back, around the country, sports in little areas, whatever. He's like, no, we're actually thinking about the cover. And I'm like, bullshit. No way. I was already skeptical. I'm checking my caller ID. See, is this actually coming from Sports Illustrated, or is this one of my homies playing a trick on me? Because, college football players. We're all about pranking each other all the time.
Yeah.
So he tells me that, and he's like, we haven't decided yet. We'll call you tonight and let you know. Just so you know, it's between you and Roger Clemens. I'm like,
what a comparison right there. What a comparison there. Oh my God. Yo, I'm gonna say to everybody, I had a guy on the pod that he was compared to Roger Clemens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
All right,
okay.
that's a wrap for the show tonight. We are actually now in this greatest show we've made.
Mic drop. So I'm thinking like, no way this is happening, right? But it turns out, right, when I actually talked to him later that night, he's like, we're gonna go with your picture. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And the reason why was because, well, he didn't say this outright, but I believe that you can't really see who it is. So there's an anonymity there. Mm-hmm. And what he said to me was like, this is a picture that like epitomizes what Sports Illustrated is about, which is sportsmanship, like the love of the game. Like there's nobody in the stands back there. You can't even see the stands back there. But it's like there's a couple thousand people at this national championship game, right? We're not playing for the glitz and the glamour or the money, right? None of that. We just play because we love the game. We love the competition. And it came through in that picture. At least that's what he said. And he's like, you can see the joy. Like that's what we're about. And in this time of turmoil and fraudsters and this steroid scandal and all this negative crap, this is what it's about. So we're going to go with your picture. So the fact that it was kind of like a little bit anonymous, you don't know who it is. It's this kid from nowhere, just love of the game. Anybody can like see themselves in that. And he's like, that is awesome. So that's how I got on the cover of Sports Illustrated over the Rocket. Right.
Dude, that is awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy experience. But after all that, so
absolutely.
Yeah, you gotta give him the applause for sure. I wanted to ask you, right? Because so we're basically a podcast for any types of sports fans, from little kids to high school, college, pros, whoever wants to watch on or come on and talk about sports, right? So just to get the perspective about playing college football for the fans out there that are viewing the show right now, how was it being a part? It's a kind of a two-parter. Being a part of a program, playing college football, and then being part of a program that won 2 national championships.
Yeah, and I played in 3. We lost the last one.
That must have been heartbreaking.
It was my last game ever, and we had won like 25 games in a row at that point. Like junior year undefeated, won the national championship. Senior year undefeated, lost the national championship to Kalen DeBoer, by the way, at Alabama.
Really?
Yeah. He wasn't at Alabama then.
Did he do anything else or anything like that? I never heard of that guy. Has he done anything major?
Yeah, right. He's been hiding under a rock somewhere, I think.
Yeah,
But anyway, when I got to Carroll College, I chose the school not because they were winning national championships. Really, I really didn't want to go there, to be honest. It was in my hometown of Helena, Montana, and who wants to go play football at a tiny college in their hometown? Like I wanted to get out and go play it somewhere bigger, right? And I had offers to like Oregon, UCLA, Arizona State, some big D1 schools as like a walk-on, right? Like come like a preferred walk-on type thing. And my naive and like egotistical young self was like, walk-on? Come on, give me a scholarship, silly attitude. But it ended up serving me a little bit, because when I went to Carroll College, the upperclassmen and the coaches and everybody were like so cool. They took me in, they took me out that night to just like a gathering with some of the seniors, right, to play poker, and just like they were just the chillest dudes ever. And everywhere else that was kind of like so much competition and like, screw you, you're coming to take my job type of feeling. So I chose it for that reason. And it helped that they had won 3 national championships in a row at that point. And then my true freshman year, I got to play in my first national championships. They won, that was the 4th in a row. So they had already built like a culture of winning. And like, I have played on some teams that were not like that, right? We've all probably played on teams that were just like, coaches didn't really care. Players were playing for themselves.
Definitely.
It's not very fun, to be honest, right? And you can get checked out, and it's like it's not that fun. But when you get on a team where everybody is like going the same direction and they are in it like for the same goal and like holding each other accountable to that and really there for each other, man, that is a wildly different experience. And it is intoxicating in many ways. And it's fantastic. Like we said this often at Carroll, like we knew that there was some magic going on. It was bigger than all of us, right? It comes down to the coaching staff, sure. But more than that, like the coaching staff, they had good schemes. Sure. They were great coaches, but they were even better recruiters, and they built their team. I would ask my head coach this often. And I coached after I got done because I was still in school. And he would say this to me all the time. Like we coach or we recruit character over everything. Mm-hmm. Like I can take the best guys in the world, the best athletes, but if they don't give a crap about each other, if they're not going to play for the team and they're in it for themselves, then we're all going to fail, right? So he would take a player that may not be quite as fast or big as the next guy, but the guy that's got good character, right? He's going to be doing his business in school, right? He is maybe doing things in the community, like little things that show that he has good character.
Yeah, character.
Way more important. Yeah. And it showed. And I know DeBoer actually does the same thing. Like he recruits on that, and that's why I think he's seen so much success so quickly too, at every level.
Just we're on the same. Everybody can know a little bit more as well. Like we were saying before, we're interviewing Mr. Brandon Day. You played safety, correct?
Outside linebacker, safety.
Linebacker,
kind of like we played a 3-4, so
like
I was
hybrid
coverage linebacker. Yeah.
Okay, man, that's awesome, man. That is really cool.
It sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Honestly.
Yeah.
You were telling us something interesting too about Montana as well, and you were saying before that there's a lot of more recruits coming out of there now in the last, what do you say, like decade or so, something like that, maybe 2 decades. That almost a place that was forgotten about for football, correct?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I never really thought about it this way. A buddy of mine, former teammate, made a documentary. He's a filmmaker now, and he made a documentary about our college, Carroll College. Just came out. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. It's really well done. Like he did an awesome job with it. And it's about that 4-peat. And that first 4-peat was wild. Like it was, you talk about the culture and of winning and all that stuff is amazing. But he interviewed Kalen DeBoer, and I'm sure your listeners know who Kalen DeBoer is. If they don't, he's the head coach of Alabama. And he came from Washington, got to play in a national championship with Washington in his, was it his first or second year in D1 as a D1 head coach. And he went from Sioux Falls, maybe second year. Yeah. So he went from, he started at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which was in the NAIA, right? And he built that program up and did really well as a young coach there. And then they actually moved up to D2 for the NCAA. They changed organizations. And then he went somewhere else in between, shortstop somewhere else. I don't remember exactly, but then he got to Washington, like in a very quick succession. Like he just meteoric rise through the ranks. And now he's at Alabama and just crushing it. Right. Mm-hmm. So anyway, my buddy goes and interviews DeBoer down at Alabama about this time when he was in Sioux Falls, because we had played them numerous times because they were a powerhouse too. Right. But we played some pretty epic games against Sioux Falls. In those years, we usually came out on top, humble brag there.
Hey, but you got to throw it in there somehow, right?
Don't be modest.
He ended up getting the best of us. So that Sports Illustrated cover, we played against DeBoer in Sioux Falls, and we beat him.
Oh, wow. So that actually is the DeBoer game there.
Yeah. So that's who we beat in that one. And then the next year in 2008, we played them again in the national championship. And they stomped us pretty good. Like it wasn't like an ass kicking, but it kind of was. Like the score didn't really reflect it. I think it was, I don't remember exactly. I kind of tried to black it out of my mind, but something like 27-10 or 17-6.
Who's counting, right?
Yeah, who's counting?
Yeah.
But he got us back, right?
I do have a question about the picture on here too, because it is an awesome picture. You're completely right, and like I think you nailed it exactly what the editor was talking about and stuff with it, because it could be anybody out there, and just the joy that you have in there and stuff. But you can't help but notice how nasty the field. Like, where was this game, and like what the hell was going on there?
So they had the national championship for the NAI. They bid on it, and it was a 10-year contract, and it was in Savannah, Tennessee. Now, Savannah, Tennessee, back in the day, had a big paper mill there, and it was a thriving community. These days, it's kind of like the paper mill shut down, so it's not exactly a ghost town, but it's not a big population. We played at the high school stadium there, and they had just put new sod on the field for the national championship, but the sod was not draining properly, and then of course it rains for like 4 days leading up to the game. God. So it is just on the sideline. We were standing there in like 3 inches of standing water, and it's like 42 degrees. It's still raining, and it was cold, like biting to the bone cold. And so, like before the game, I'd go to my buddy Zach right there, number 7. He played safety. We were close. He was a captain with me the next year. He looks at me, and we're like, all right, after we win this game, we're doing penguin slide right down the middle of that like mud ball, mud bath in the middle of the field. Like who didn't play, football or baseball or soccer or as a kid in the backyard or something, and the mud bowl games, those are the funnest games, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And especially when you win. But
yeah, right. Makes it all worth it.
Yeah. So when we ended up winning, we walked through the line, shake hands, and he's right behind me, and I just look at him, he looks at me, and we just take off running. And that's what you see there. Like we both did this big penguin slide, and then at the end, I just like threw my arms up in celebration, screamed to the gods, and he happened to be standing right there. The photographer was an AP guy who was not even supposed to be there. He was covering for somebody else, didn't want to be there, right? He's like, what is this, like high school football? Oh, it's college? Weird. He's like, I would much rather be somewhere warm right now. And later on, I found out that I didn't see him standing there. He was just walking by to get off the field because he was done. And he saw me slide. He saw me do the pose, and he just turned and clicked. And his screen went memory card full.
What?
So he just like turned, clicked, memory card full, walked off, and then later on opened it up. Last photo on his memory card was this one, and he's like, "Oh, that's a pretty good photo."
Shot.
Hey, that was God, man. That was God for sure. Putting in the work, man.
100%
that is crazy. Even more, just hearing more about what went all into that, and that being almost didn't even happen. Like that is just insane. All of it, making
Hallmark movie, baby. Hallmark movie. We gotta get this.
You want to hear something even crazier? I used to say that I was just lucky, right place, right time. I had nothing to do with it. Blah blah blah. I don't say that shit anymore because I think that's bad mindset work. Right? You gotta take responsibility for the good, for the bad, and for the good, right?
Exactly.
Like I worked my ass off to get to that point.
Cause and effect,
deserve it, 100%. Well, here's the crazy thing. 3 years before that moment, I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and one of my best friends in his art class photoshopped a photo of him and I on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, that's crazy,
our football season for senior year.
For real. Destiny,
dude,
for real.
Like talk about manifestation, like God getting involved. It was like you put it out there, anything can happen.
Dude, we could have a whole episode on that because I believe in that wholeheartedly. Sure. Like you put it out there, it's gonna happen.
We definitely going to jump back into some college, but I definitely want to get you to talk about what you have going on now. So after you went through college, you're on the cover and everything like that, just reading the bio a little bit. You started doing business, went to school, finished up your college and stuff. Why don't you go ahead and talk to people about that for a little bit?
Yeah, so I took a little detour and I made independent films for a while, for like 5 years, which was super fun. Taught me a lot about building a business and a lot about how to not build a business and what to what to do and what not to do. And that was super cool. But it was kind of a detour in some ways. And I kind of came back to this like health and fitness and sports, athletics kind of realm out of necessity for myself, because I was dealing with so much chronic physical pain, like my neck, my back, my knees. I played through pain my entire career, which, you know, the culture still to this day, a little bit, but not as much, but definitely back then was like, pain is weakness, right?
Mhm.
Like push through it. Right. And that was definitely how I approached things. And I had a lot of pain, afterward, that just kind of never went away. And in some ways it started to get worse and worse, as the years went on. And along with that, like I had a sense that something was wrong with my brain. And it got to a point where my mental health, was getting so bad, and my physical health and pain was getting so bad that I really hit like a rock bottom point. And I made a decision to change my life. It was either that or like die, literally. And so I made that change. I kind of came back to health, and I became a personal trainer. Just trying to figure something out and make some money while I was finishing up this film thing. And I started to really enjoy working with people that were having pain. And I still hadn't figured out my own stuff yet. But I remember specifically working with a guy with Parkinson's, and I really helped him in some small way to start to deal with that disease that he had just been diagnosed with. Even got him not off of completely, but cut his dosage of his medication in half after a few months of working together. And I was like, wow, like I can really make an impact in this guy's life. That's pretty cool. Let's go down this path a little bit further. And still trying to heal my own pain. And so I went back, got a master's degree in kinesiology. I worked in physical therapy for many years. I tried all the things I could to fix my own pain, and was also working on kind of the mental health part of it and trying to figure out what the heck was going on with my brain specifically, like, you know, separate from the mindset and the mental health stuff. Like I felt like my brain was not working well, like the physical part, like structure of my brain. And then I saw Concussion with Will Smith. And so I was completely, I knew that I had CTE at that point. I was like, I'm sold. I got CTE. I'm screwed. Like, okay, now I got to figure out how to cure CTE for myself. Well, my opinion on all that has changed considerably in the years after that. And there's a pretty cool documentary a buddy of mine made. I forget the NFL player's name, but he kind of flipped the script a little bit on CTE, on whether it's like as prevalent as they think it is. And long story short, there's like ways to really help yourself. And so I got that in my head and I'm like, okay, I can figure this out somehow. So anyway, pretty soon after that, I stumbled upon the work of a guy named Steven Kotler, and then his kind of mentor, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, around flow states. And I realized that is what I had lost access to after competitive sports was over. And if anybody doesn't know what flow states are, it's like those states of peak performance when you feel and perform your best. When you're so absorbed in the task at hand, be it a sport or a video game or a conversation with somebody, that everything goes away. Time disappears.
It's like the endorphins are going or something like that.
Massively like heightened. It's like the best drug on earth that your brain makes for you, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like it's been called a billion different things, like being in the zone, in the pocket, runner's high, clutch, like all of these things describe
now
exactly locked in, all of it. They all describe the flow state. And so when I understood that that's what I had missed, I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. So then I kind of like dedicated my life to finding that anywhere and everywhere that I could, which really served me well in a lot of ways. And that's what I coach people on now. And then the second thing that really changed the game for me and for the chronic physical pain and also my brain health was the field of applied neurology or applied neuroscience, which is really just taking everything that we know about the brain, how it works to make movement happen, your breathing, how the visual system works, how the inner ear and the vestibular system, how they work to kind of inform your brain about where you're at in space, how to leverage those systems to essentially give the brain the right information to make it feel quote unquote safe and predictable in the environment, to unlock or remove the brakes for pain and performance, right? There's a saying in neuro that no brain, no pain, because pain doesn't live in your tissues. You don't have pain in your joints. You have pain in your brain, in the brain's representation of those places up here, right? So I'm not saying it's all in your mind, although it kind of is.
Yeah,
But
it sends it there, but
exactly.
Yeah,
and so
it's literally, but not figuratively at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly. So when you can kind of grapple with that and understand that concept, then it opens the door to help people with pain. And for me, within 3 weeks of starting this applied neurology journey, learning about it, practicing it on myself, all my chronic pain went away, like in an instant.
wow.
And of course, like it comes back here and there, right? But I know what to deal with it, how to deal with it. And this idea that, pain comes from your brain, it's an output from your brain always, then you can use anything to affect that pain. Like I can get rid of my neck pain by, moving my wrist in the right direction or the right way. I can do it by, proper breathing mechanics and breathing drills. I can do it with visual drills. Anything that is meant to give the brain the right information that it needs in that moment, whether it be from your eyes, your inner ear, body movement, breathing, then it will say, okay, I don't need to give you pain anymore. Now I feel better in my environment. It's more predictable. I feel safer, quote unquote. We'll let the pain go. And it works the other way too. I will remove the brakes to unlock levels of performance that you've never been able to do. Right? So that's how I can improve somebody's strength, speed, vertical jump, or cognitive ability in an instant with one neuro input. So,
is that like the same concept of like how some like martial artists and stuff like that, they'll like purposely almost like, lack of better words, like damage the or a lot of MMA guys or something, like they'll like almost damage the shin, if you will, because they're going to kick there so much so that it doesn't send a signal that it hurts you. Is that the same kind of concept?
Similar. I mean, there's neurology underneath that, right? And we could explain that from the lens of neurology. And that's kind of the important thing, is like anything and everything that we do, when we start peeling back the layers, you always run into the nervous system and the brain. Everything that you've ever thought, done, or ever will become is because of brain activity. So if we know that, then if we can actually go to the root cause and assess the brain and work with it directly, then we're going to get better results faster with anything that we do. And so that idea of the shin and hitting that thing over and over and over again, yes, there are some mechanical and physical things that are happening to build up kind of like that callus on there, which will then essentially kind of change the sensation that the nervous system is getting and make it feel almost kind of like numb. There's a physical part of that, a structural part of that, but still underneath, you're training the motor neurons and the nervous system with repeated exposure to kind of get used to that, right? So it's both, and it's both those things always at the same time. Like it's all the systems always. But with neurotraining, if we get down to the root cause and work from that level, then it informs everything we do at a deeper level. So we can understand everything that we're doing at a deeper level, and also leverage how the nervous system works so we can work with all the things integrated, right? So we're not isolated, and we just get better and faster results when we do that.
For anybody, athletes or anybody that's out there, how do they get a hold of you, your website, or any of that kind of stuff to be able to learn more about what you're talking about? Because it's very interesting stuff you got going on.
It's fascinating. That's why I love it so much. It's like a never-ending quest, right, for mastery when you start working with the brain and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So I'm on Instagram at I am Brandon Day, one word. That's where I kind of share some content around it, quick wins, things like that. And then my website, evolvedathlete.coach. I got programs on there where you can learn more. You can work with me one-on-one or in groups. And I do a lot of stuff on School. If you guys are familiar with that platform, SKOOL. It's a cool like group training platform. Hermosi's been like big into it. And so anyway, those are my three. School.com/evolved is my community over there, but they're all kind of tied together. So if you go to one, you'll find the others too. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Definitely got to check it out because, man,
man.
Learned like at least like 4 new things in the last 10 minutes.
Nice.
Crazy.
Yeah, perfect.
We'll go jump back into the sports side and dumb this conversation down a little bit after that. Jeez, man. I wear glasses, but I mean, it's just to make me look smarter, man. That was intelligent stuff you got going on there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we came out a couple of weeks ago, and with your college football experience, I figured you'd be the perfect person to ask about this one. So the committee decided to stick with the 12-team playoff instead of advancing it to the rumored 16 or the 24. GMike, I'm going to have you start up there, man. Are you good with this, that this kind of came to an end, or did you want to see it expand?
I wanted to see it expand, man. I feel like, there's a reason why you rank 25 top teams. You got these big conferences like the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, that they have multiple teams that can fit the college football playoff format, right? You keep it at 12, and it's just limits, in my opinion, viewership, money that be coming to the games on TV or even the actual in-person games, and even the whole excitement behind the college football playoffs. Yeah, I know we still have all these bowl games, and we try to still make that important, but in this day and age, for the last however many years that the college football playoff have been out, that is what is more important to the college football viewer. So I feel like if they would have made it a little bit bigger in the sense of like 16 teams, I think it would have been pretty dope then. I think after 16, a lot of teams do really expose themselves on not being as great as the top 10, the top 12, how it is now. But I think if you would expand it a little more, you won't be getting these situations as in Notre Dame, for instance, last year that they didn't get in, and they were a team that, if you really like put pen to paper, they were a team that should have been in the top 10. But, with this whole college football playoff format, only 12 teams go, and, it is what it is then.
Brandon, what do you think about that one? Especially going to a smaller school, Carroll, like any chances of obviously I know that's, lower level, but I mean, you got those teams out there. They're not the only ones that are good chances that get a good shot. You have like the March Madness tournament where you got these guys that there's always one team that makes it so far. Do you think that they should incorporate more teams, or do you like it where it's at, that this is the Elite 12?
I 100% agree with GMike. Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't expand it. I don't see any downside, right? You get more games, you get more money coming in, more viewership. Like, who gives a crap about the bowl games these days? Like, I don't even care. I see, some of these, even when it was just all bowl games, like, there's so many of them, and they're just kind of like, to me, they're just like exhibition games. That, yeah, okay, like, but the competition's not there. Like, there's
right.
So
my whole thing with it too is that you can take these bowl games, like you're saying, they're so watered down and so many, but make them actually mean something.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you expand that out? They're playing these games anyway, right?
Exactly.
How hard would it be to add 16, even 24 teams? And to your point about March Madness, like, who doesn't love a dark horse? Somebody that comes from nowhere. And I know like Indiana kind of played that this time, and they just came in and destroyed people until the national championship, where it was actually kind of a better game. But that's like crazy. But they were good all season. Like, they were top tier all season. But even like Miami, like, came out of nowhere kind of at the end of the season. But you don't give people a chance to do that if you don't have more teams in there. Right?
Exactly.
Like, Notre Dame's such a good example. Like, they lost 2 games at the beginning of the season. Then they went on a terror for 10 games. They should have been in there. Mm-hmm. They had all the momentum in the world. They could have won the national championship. If anybody could have, they were rolling, right? And to deny them that because some committee just like, I only get 12 teams, like, that seems ridiculous. So I don't understand how it could even be. Wasn't it like the SEC and the Big Ten were they just couldn't decide
Exactly.
whether to do
It
16
came
or
down to the
24?
SEC and Big Ten, yeah.
What? Like, come on. How hard is that to put together? Flip a coin. 16, 24, heads, tails, right?
Yeah,
if you got the scheduling, you could make it work.
Your point of it earlier, George, you were talking about the, what's the point of ranking these guys then if you're only going to go to 12 then or something? Like, who cares if you're number 17 in the country? That's not also going to make a recruit go, oh man, you were 17. I got to go to your school now. Like that. If you're 17 and you make a run and you make it to maybe the quarterfinals, that's when the recruiting actually starts coming in. That's when it actually matters. But overall, if you finish the season, 19th in the country, it's good for the coach that he can get his next contract, but that's not going to get any other players there. It's not going to do anything for the school. So, yeah, I completely agree that I think that they should expand it. I would be in favor of the 24. The 24, and I guess you would give the 25th team the automatic bye, maybe give them 2 rounds. However you want to figure it out, it could be – it seems like to me an easy fix to do. And then it also gives – I think it kind of takes out the – we didn't have a chance, the Notre Dame, or a couple of years ago, everybody loves to, and being in the Central Florida area, UCF. Like, they would have had their actual opportunity to get that chance had they, if they expanded it like they should have back then. But
didn't that happen to Florida State?
I think they definitely should.
Yeah, happened to Florida State too. Yep.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
Because they lost their quarterback right before the playoffs, so they're like, oh, it's not going to be the same team without the quarterback.
I completely forgot all about that one too.
Which they did get demolished by Georgia. Man, I'm not gonna say, but,
right?
In that game that was not a part of the college football playoff, but still, like, I don't know. I feel like if you earn your right, you should get there. And the other thing is with NIL money, right? You got all these schools that are going to be coming up with the money in the future with different kind of sponsorships that they have in their city, in their state, and stuff like that. So it's like, you're going to have different opportunities for different teams to make the college football playoff if you expand it. If you keep it at 12, most likely the top 7 are going to be the same kind of schools that are always in there. The Alabamas, the Georgias, the freaking before Notre Dame. Now, most likely it's looking like Miami's going to be there for the next few years to come with what just happened. But you expand it, you let that NIL money start rolling for different schools, and then you're going to have just like the NFL. You don't know who's going to be there in the end.
Yeah. Like BYU, right, this year. Mm-hmm. They had a great season. You know what I mean? And they got, I know they lost a couple games, but I just want to see them have a chance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And, and that alleviates the whole, we never had a chance. You can't ever get the chance unless you actually have the chance, And so you can honestly say, hey, we beat the best of the best, including these small schools, or even the larger schools. But I think it's just the best and fair way to do it. Now, that is something else as well. I know that NIL has kind of changed things the way colleges and everything like that. What do you think is like the future with like schools that, like, for instance, where you went, where it's a smaller school? Has NIL affected any of that kind of dynamic? Or are players leaving earlier? Are they sticking around more? Or it's kind of lower level kind of stuff, so they're not at that point?
Well, yeah, at our level in the NAIA and, in the Midwest, not much. There's not a whole ton of money going around. I will say at the FBS level, I've seen it a little bit more. I work with some players at the FBS level, and I know a few of them personally that have really benefited from it, and it's been great. Like one example, a kid playing for one of the teams up in Montana. He's from America Samoa. They got a connection down there, and they get kids up there sometimes. And like his family is not, have a huge endowment or a ton of funds, right, to get him up there. And he got the chance. There's some companies around the community that like dove into this and started picking kids. And they weren't always like the top stars, but they were choosing kids based on need. And so they did a commercial with this kid. Like, he was a familiar face. They knew who he was, but he wasn't like the quarterback. He was like a lineman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They did a commercial with him, and he got some NIL money that he could then bring his family to a game. Like, that's beautiful.
That's what I mean?
Awesome.
That's the good side of what this thing is actually supposed to be about.
Absolutely.
That's what it should be about, 100%.
Yeah. And of course, there's going to be a negative side. Of course, right?
Of course.
You get the good with the bad.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think it's going to be a net positive, because I think these kids should be compensated in some way, right? Because they're working full-time jobs and they're sacrificing their bodies for it too, right? So at the lower levels, like the NEI, I haven't seen it much. I haven't heard of it much. The transfer portal a little bit more, right? When that started to shake things up, kids were moving up, which is also great. Like, it's just changing things, like, and people don't like change, which I get it, but you got to adapt, right? And I know the good coaches, the good teams are going to adapt. The one negative is that when you're trying to really build a culture, it gets harder. It gets harder when those good kids leave.
Question. Are you for or against it? Because it seems like now people are just like, okay, you know what? There's no loyalty. There's no, and we just talked about it last week, the Duke and Miami situation where they had to come to an agreement to get him out of the contract and everything. I was saying, I think that's going to be a new thing coming up a lot more, that they're going to have to come up with something, because you can't just sign a contract for money, get the money, and be like, okay, I see a better opportunity for me, and I'm out.
Yeah.
They're going to have to start weighing that out more.
Yeah, I think so too. But, to your first question, I'm for it. Like, I think it's going to be a net positive overall. So I'm for it. I think the good teams with the good, like, I'm going to use him again because I really do respect him, and he's an amazing coach. The DeBoers of the world, Kalen DeBoer, my old head coach, Mike Van Diest. These guys, they recruit on character and they breed loyalty, right? So, you're going to have like the Jaden Daniels that go to ASU and then get recruited by LSU and then get NIL money and like $4 million or whatever. I don't know what the actual payment was that he was getting at LSU. Like, I mean, it'd be kind of stupid not to take that. I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Loyalty's one thing, but a paycheck is nice.
I mean,
especially at that age, man, especially when you got family you got to look out for family in those situations, man. Like,
you do.
Gotcha.
You do. Yeah, I got nothing bad to say about that. Like, do your thing. Like, get that money. Football is a very short-lived sport. So make that money. Like, I have no qualms with that. But as far as like the loyalty and stuff goes, there will be decisions that people are going to have to make on whether or not they want to like stay on a team that has a culture that they really love, or are they going to go chase the money? And this is a decision that people have been having to make for all time. In business, in sports, everywhere. It's just because you got to make a hard decision. I mean, there's worse decisions you got to make. You know what I mean? So, I'm not too mad about it. The good teams will adapt and they'll find a way to hold on to those really good players. So I'm not worried about that. And the sport will adapt. So I'm not worried about that either. So all in all, I think it's a net positive.
It's like when we were younger, a lot of these athletes, and there was one dude, I forgot his name, but I think he went to Washington, the team you brought up earlier, and he was the one that was really advocating for the money to be changed because they were getting no money for food, just for food, right? And when that was going on, it's like, yeah, I had my 2 cents for it, but Steve and I, we went to Full Sail University for the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, right? And there, I really learned that you were a full-time student and I was a full-time employee. I was working and being a full-time student at the same time. And just knowing the stuff that we did, it felt like a full-time job that we were not getting paid for. So I imagine athletes that are training every day, putting their bodies on the line, 2 to 3 practices a day, going out there for the games, putting on the show for the people, and then everybody else reaping the benefits for it? Nah, I didn't agree with that. It's like, these guys need to make some sort of change that can help them just by getting some food at first. But now it's helping them, bring their family clothes on their backs, a shelter over their heads, food in their tables, like a lot of benefits come off of this. All the other stuff of like, is the culture going to change and all that? Yeah, for sure. It's going to. But at the end of the day, these athletes, men and women, they're all full-time employees, really. Full-time employees, especially for NCAA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well put.
It's definitely a lot coming in the next few years too, because I think it's only going to get bigger, and we're going to see all kinds of different rules and changes, and they'll get to come into all the employees, they lose their amateur status, all that good stuff. So there's still a lot more to come with that. But if I think it's all for the good whenever you get stories like you're just talking about before about that gentleman that they were able to do a commercial and he was able to get his family up there to see a game. So there is some plus sides to it as well. And I'm glad you actually brought that up, because I didn't really heard any really positive stories. It's always negative, and people are making it out to be like they're just these rich kids that are getting paid and stuff. So there is actually some good sides to it. Gentlemen, I think we're going to go ahead and jump from the gridiron and head to the octagon, because we have a huge pay-per-view coming on tomorrow night.
It's time for Fight Night from the stands.
All right, man, it's the rematch, man. Alexander Volkanovski versus Lopez 2. And this one's going to be on Volkanovski's home ground in Australia. Man, I am excited as hell for this fight. The last one was an absolute classic. It was awesome watching these two guys go at it. I think that things are going to be a little bit different this time, and I liked what your hashtag was up there, Mr. GMike. I believe that Lopez is a lot more prepared for this one this time than he was the last. I have to say both these two guys are two of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Volkanovski has such an awesome personality, and just watching him on the side, him and Jamal Murray are wrestling, and he's trying to learn how to play basketball and can't play basketball to save his life. Just an awesome guy, but I think Lopez is the real deal as well. GMike, man, obviously I think you're going for Lopez in this one.
Yeah, man. I think, bro, like you said, this fight was just a masterclass on both sides. I think Lopez, he had his he wanted it like so bad before, because the way that he was fighting was just going at Volk and not being scared or whatever. But I think his mind wasn't really right in it. I think he was just overly excited, and he didn't really think about strategic skills and how he was going to land his punches and try to go for the takedowns and stuff like that. But I think this time around, after fighting Volk, you go the second time, exactly what, not exactly, because he might tune up his fighting game a little bit for sure, but you know what he likes and you know what he can do. And I think Lopez is going to come out this time, man, and try to get that revenge.
Brandon, man, are you excited as we are about this fight? This is going to be one awesome fight, especially, let's not forget, just as a reminder, everybody, it is on Paramount now. So we got an hour earlier. I know last week it didn't feel like an hour earlier, but it is officially an hour earlier.
It was.
Brandon, man, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I've been going back and forth. Like, I have no idea. Like, it seems like when I weigh these two guys against each other, it's just like so. Like, Volkanovski has got the home field advantage, right? Mm-hmm. He's got the crowd, like, that's going to pump you up. Like, I never discount that home field advantage. But he got smacked a little bit in the last fight a couple times, like when he went down. Right there in that one. Like, Lopez has got some power, dude. And I think he's going to catch him this time. I think he's going to knock him down and maybe knock him out or submit him probably later in one of the rounds. And like, I'm an underdog guy. I love the underdog. And I think Lopez has got a chip on his shoulder right now. So even though Volkanovski's got like home field, he's got the win, he's the champ, and he's going to do his best to keep that belt. Like, he's not going to let off the gas at all. I think Lopez is going to get him. So that's my prediction.
Did you end up seeing the Paddy fight last week?
I did not. I missed it.
What a throwdown that was, man.
I like Paddy, though. He's good.
I know, man. I was rooting for him the whole time, man. But the way that Justin Gaethje was just hitting him, but he was taking it, bro. Like, the guy proved that, I'm not getting knocked out for nothing. Yo, what a fight it was, man.
Dude,
Yeah,
after playing football.
It was definitely an awesome start to the new Paramount experience with them. I think this one's going to be awesome as well. I think I hate to do it to usually never goes well when everybody picks the same one, but I'm going Lopez as well. It's going to be hard for me. I love Volkanovski. I want to make that very clear. Volkanovski is one of my dudes, but I
dude,
also really am a huge fan of Lopez, and I think this is going to be the time that he he's not going to be as scared as he was the first time. And I think that's the thing, because as the fight went on, you notice that he got a little bit more comfortable, got into his own, and he's got a lot of hands and a lot of power. So I think this time going around, I think that he's got the jitters out and knows that he can hang with Volkanovski at least. But that's not the only major fight that's going on there too. You got Dan Hooker and St. Dennis. There's so many cool fights on here. Is there any other highlighted fights on here, guys, that you guys are excited for? That, man, I cannot wait for this one.
Man, I was actually looking at Torres Finney and Jacob Malcone, if I said that right, another Australian fighter there. A lot of Australian fighters on this, obviously, being the whole field advantage there. But Torres and Finney, I think that one's going to be a good one, a good middleweight fight there. I think it's going to be neck and neck. It probably go to the distance, decision at the end. But that's the one I was really looking at. And then with these cards right here that you got on the screen, I think Dan Hooker and St. Dennis is going to be a good one as well. I think the underdog on this one, St. Dennis, is probably going to take it if he's the underdog, unless they switch to Dan Hooker. I know it was like even at one point, but I think St. Dennis will probably take it.
I'm actually looking forward to the fight before that one. I always get his name wrong, so forgive me. Fuizi, I believe it was, but I could be saying it completely wrong, so forgive me if I am or not. But I like his style. I think he's up and comer, and I think he's going to dominate in this fight as well. But everybody's going to love that one. And who would have to see the guy drink out of a shoe as well? Come on, man. That's going to be fun. Who doesn't want to see that happen? So that one's going to be good as well. Brandon, you got any kind of excitement on these other fights or anything like that? Or are you just looking forward to the main event?
I mean, I like watching all of them. I don't follow the other guys too much, but from what I've seen, they look like pretty evenly matched, at least the Hooker, St. Dennis, and the Tuivasa and Tierra. Or however you say that. That one, like George was saying, those two look like pretty intense. Like it might be over early. Those two, got some power behind them. So it sounds like it's gonna be exciting at least.
It sounds like some guys are gonna have to get a hold of somebody with some chronic pain after this is over. If there was a way to get a hold of somebody with some chronic pain,
baby.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Just get hit in the head. I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Let's not forget, I am Brandon Dare on Instagram out there. Okay,
right.
So you guys might need to be looking for him. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and jump into our last segment, and that is our down bad debate for tonight.
It's time for the Down Bad Debate.
All right, tonight's Down Bad Debate is going to be a mid-season MVP race. And as you can see right now, we haven't listed who is in the top 10 right now going for the MVP. With the All-Star break coming up in about 2 to 3 weeks, somewhere in there, it's safe to say we're at about the midway point here. Is there anybody, Mr. GMike, that you think should be higher, or are you liking this list here?
I like the list. I think if anybody should be higher would be Tyrese Maxey. I think the way that he's been carrying the 76ers right now has been more than Donovan Mitchell's been doing for Cleveland, because Cleveland just has a well-rounded squad, while Tyrese Maxey barely plays with Joel Embiid. VJ, he's a rookie. He's coming into his own, so he's not super consistent right now. He's just been inconsistently. Just when it comes to the MVP, though, I mean, Shai definitely deserves it 100%, scoring 32 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game. They're number one in the West. OKC is doing great stuff. He's shooting 50% for the field. Another good player, too, another good candidate would be Kate Cunningham with helping Detroit be the number one in the East, dropping 25 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 10 assists per game while shooting 45 from the field. But my vote would go to Luka Doncic, man, because the way that this man has been playing and carrying the Lakers, like it looked like he's going with a backpack all over Europe with the Lakers on his back. They're the 5th seed right now, and the guy is dropping 34 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 9 assists per game, shooting 47% from the field. And yes, the Lakers are only the 5th seed. I know winning does take a toll when it comes to the MVP candidate, and it's only the midway point of the season. Maybe they either go up or go down. But if it wasn't for Luka, I think the Lakers are looking at a lottery pick right now, because without him, I don't even think they make a playing spot.
Yeah, I prior to this point, going to the preseason, I picked up Victor Wembanyama to win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. I'm sticking with. I think Victor should probably be. I think once this is all said, if he can stay healthy, he's had a couple hiccups there. I'm going to go back with my original pick, but Luka Doncic, man, I have always have a special place as a Mavs fan for Luka Doncic, and it still upsets me that he's not wearing that blue jersey anymore, but he's wearing that Lakers one. But having said that, though, I definitely think it should come down to Luka or Victor. SGA is doing fantastic as well, but I kind of go with what you're saying as well, kind of like with the Donovan Mitchell thing. SGA's roster is a lot better than some of these other guys, and I think what Luka is doing, carrying the Lakers this strong. And Victor Wembanyama is still extremely young, and his surrounding cast is extremely young as well. And San Antonio has been playing lights out. I mean, let's not forget they've beaten the Thunder 3 out of 4 times playing them this season. So I mean, that's impressive, and they're the champs. So I think that Victor Wembanyama is still going to be my pick, but I also have to be right there with Luka Doncic. That I think Luka is putting on a show, and I wish he could have been doing this when he played for the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah. Brandon, my man, do you have a pick for this or anything, or you just like the game and want to see all these guys do well?
That for sure. You know, I think after I did a little reading into it, I'm not a big NBA guy, but that Shai's doing. I mean, I love Luka. Like, he's just a solid player that I like to watch. You know what I mean? Like, but I think the fact that he's putting up numbers that he's doing and not lead runner, I mean, that seems a little bit crazy. I get that you have the record that plays into it, but I don't know. That's a tough race.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time to figure it all out, because we're coming up to the All-Star break now pretty soon. So it's definitely going to be interesting. You got the trade deadline coming up here. I believe that's next week as well. So that'll be something we'll be talking about very soon. You know, so we'll see how that's going to play out.
Before we end the whole thing, right? And Steve, we're going to be talking about this next week. So let's just give Brandon the spotlight here. Super Bowl 60. Who do you got?
Man, I gotta go Patriots. It pains me to say it. It pains me to say it, because I was such a hater when Brady was just crushing it over there. Although I had a buddy that played for them, and nice. I was conflicted. But honestly, like, they're cruising, and I like their young quarterback. I think he's a stand-up dude. I like what they're doing, and I just don't like the Seahawks.
I just don't like them.
So
yeah, we'll be getting into that definitely more some more next week for sure, man.
How crazy is it with Destiny, right? That the first time both these teams go back to the Super Bowl, they're playing each other. Yeah. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's
have you guys seen that conspiracy theory one about the early thing that the NFL did with all the quarterbacks, and if you really zoom in, that Sam Darnold and Drake May are the two in front of the building. Like,
really?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of funny. It went from that one before it was the team colors or in the headlines before it even starts, but. I don't know. I can't buy into any of that stuff, but it is kind of fun.
People are just really creative.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Patterns anywhere.
All right, Mr. Brandon, man, this has been an awesome experience, man. We really, really appreciate you coming on the show, and you are more than welcome anytime to come on. We would love to have you back on. We can talk some injuries and, just mindset and everything you got going on. One more time, if you want to give any kind of shout out to anything you got going on, go ahead and shameless plug yourself, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, no, this was a blast. I'd love to come back anytime. Again, you can find me on Instagram at I am Brandon Day. If you're an athlete and you're dealing with pain, chronic pain, head injuries, any of that, like, I'm your guy. Come find me, and we'll get you fixed up. Like, It's easy. It's easy. I did the hard stuff, so you don't have to.
Nice. Evolved athlete, baby. Evolved athlete.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Oh, man. All right, GMike, man, you got anything you want to say before we sign off, my friend?
Yeah, guys, please like, subscribe, share the show with your family, friends, strangers, whoever you meet at the next Evolved Athlete that you go to. Please let them know Views of the Stands is the podcast that you want to join, watch. You can even come on and talk smack with us if you want.
Absolutely. And just before we go, I thought this would be kind of funny here. I found this. It still fits my head. It's a little bit old. It was my old military Coast Guard hat, and it turns out my head has gotten bigger since I was 19. So I don't know if a Evolved Athlete can help me with that, but also my head is too damn big. But
the science is there.
Having said that,
yeah,
appreciate all the likes, subscribes, and all the sharing. And please just keep it going. We appreciate all the love out there. Brandon, it was an absolute honor for you to come on the show.
Thank you again, Brandon. Thank you.
Come back. And I am Brandon Day. We are Views from the Stands. We really appreciate it. Have a good night and be safe.